Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Comic Book Nostalgia. I'm CB Nostalgia, and I thought we could take a couple minutes to talk about the return of Steve Rogers. Well, as many of you know, Chris Evans retired from the role of Captain America at the end of Avengers Endgame. Now, since then, there have been a persistent parade of rumors, none of which have ever been confirmed, that he might return to the role of Steve Rogers sometime in the not-so-distant future. There were even a couple of trades that claimed that he had signed a new deal to reprise the role, but that's never manifested, and recently he's kind of given us some indication that it doesn't seem very likely, but he did hold out on some possibilities. Now, Chris Evans right now is promoting Lightyear, and during the press rounds for that, he was asked if there was any truth to those rumors that he has some future MCU appearances lined up. One of the suggestions was a potential movie or series where he was returning those Infinity Stones, but the actor appears pretty clear to me and very hesitant after bringing Steve Rogers' story to such a great close that he would want to muck that up in any way, shape, or form. Now, during the press tour, he did an interview with comicbook.com, and his response to that specific question was very interesting. This is what he had to say. That seems to be something people would like to see. I don't want to disappoint anybody, but it's tough too. It was such a good run, and I'm so happy with it. It's so precious to me. It would have to be perfect. It would just be scary to rattle something that is, again, so dear to me. The role means so much to me, so to revisit it would be a tall order. Now, he's clearly leaving the door open to the character potentially appearing again, but I love the standard that he's setting here. I have to agree. Character arcs need a final chapter, and if that's the final chapter for Steve Rogers, then it was pretty darn good, and I would understand why undermining that in any way, shape, or form would make Chris Evans, who's clearly very proud of the role, a little squeamish. Now, Steve Rogers was mentioned quite a bit in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but they didn't actually tell us what became of the older version of the character when he returned the shield to Sam Wilson at the end of Endgame. Now, we do live in a multiverse world now when it comes to Marvel Studios, so this totally means Evans could return as some kind of Captain America variant, but is that something he would really want to do after they cemented such a clear victory at the end of his original arc? To undermine that with just a variant would seem kind of cheap to many people, probably Evans himself, and I don't find it very likely that he would sign on to that. Quite honestly, the only way I could see Evans returning would probably be something similar to a Secret Empire storyline, where maybe an evil variant shows up and then at a certain point they have to restore the original Captain America, but again, putting that story together in a way that doesn't impact the original story negatively is what Chris calls a tall order, and not something that I think Marvel Studios will do. Quite honestly, if we ever see him again in the role, or any of the other actors who have retired like RDJ or Scarlett Johansson, I think the only place they probably fit in is in some sort of Secret Wars event. You know Marvel wants to top the Endgame numbers, and I think Secret Wars is the plan for that. And one way you could virtually guarantee that the box office beats those original Endgame numbers would be to bring back some of these actors for a one-time movie. This would be an area where a variant would work, and it could be a strong possibility for the future, but clearly Evans is going to have the last say on this, and I think he's going to do what he has to do to protect the character. Now, obviously, if we get any more news from Chris Evans about this, we're going to bring it to you right away. But until we find out more, what do you guys think? How do you feel about Chris Evans being so protective of that final story for Steve Rogers? And what kind of story do you think would bait the actor into returning to the role? Quite honestly, I really don't know. Tell me what you think in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you hit like, click subscribe, and if you don't ring that bell, you're not getting any updates. Peace.